Please be seated. Good morning and welcome to Cardiff and to St David's Hall. Borida, croeso I Gaerdydd ar Neuadd Dewi Sant. As President of the University, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to this graduation ceremony, or congregation, as it's more accurately called. I extend particular warm greetings to parents and partners and others whose love and support will have contributed so much to the success whose achievement we are celebrating today. To those who are graduating today, I extend particular congratulations and strong personal congratulations. I celebrate, I rejoice at your success, and you can be confident that the qualification that you've earned from Cardiff University is held in high regard, not just in the United Kingdom, but throughout the world. That reputation has obviously been won over many years, and it was recently and very strongly endorsed by the United Kingdom Higher Education Quality Assurance Agency, which makes assessments of teaching standards in universities. To maintain those attributes of strength, the university continues to invest in advances in learning provision. The £16 million commitment to the new purpose-built premises for the School of Optometry and Vision Sciences, and the £3.5 million going to the innovative high-speed computer network are just two of many instances of that. Such developments also reinforce Cardiff's standing as one of Britain's foremost research-led universities. We are now officially ranked 7th out of 106 institutions in the United Kingdom for the quality of research. And further progress is in prospect as a result of last autumn's historic achievement of the merger between Cardiff University and the University of Wales College of Medicine. That marriage has already proved to be fruitful. The university now has the scope and the size of teaching and research expertise to be a truly world-class institution of learning. Perhaps the clearest indication of our sustained vitality is the fact that this year, while the average rise in applications for university places in the United Kingdom was 9%, the rise in applications to study in Cardiff was 16%. In medicine, while applications for places in medical schools rose in line with the national average for university applications, in Cardiff it rose by 30%. Maybe I should enter an apology for such patent boasting, but frankly, any apology from me on a day like this would be somewhat half-hearted. If the president of a university can't trumpet pride on a day when there is so much, so objectively to celebrate, it's difficult to know when voice can be given to pride. And if I don't do it anyway, I'll burst. In any event, I would plead mitigating modesty because in the list that I have only begun to recite, I won't go into it all, obviously, I haven't even mentioned the prizes, the awards, the other distinctions won by our academic staff, the designated centres of international excellence, and of course, the academic, sporting and cultural achievements of our students. All these and many other attainments are worthy of acclaim. They give manifold testimony to proof of prowess, to proof of advancing standards of opportunity, of excellence, of innovation, and they give proof of Cardiff's commitment to nourishing the potential of those who come here from all parts of the world and all cultures of the world to use their talents to fulfill themselves and to serve the interests of wider humanity. And it's that, of course, which is the greatest source of satisfaction to the people who lead and teach in this university. And obviously, it's what we celebrate today at this congregation. So on that subject, I draw everyone's attention to the fact that the procedures and words that we'll use at each stage of the ceremony are printed in your programme under the relevant heading. And as you'll see, the congregation will begin with the reading of the graduation proclamation in English and in Welsh by Ms. Kerry Ellen Morris. Following that, the University Director, Mrs. Louise Casella, will read the authorisation for the admission of graduates to degrees and will then proceed to admit you to your degree. Graduates will be presented by the head of school, pro-vice-chancellor or professor, and will be admitted to the degrees by the vice-chancellor, Dr. David Grant. After that, Mrs. Casella will ask all graduates and award winners to stand, and you'll be greeted by myself and by the acting warden of the Guild of Graduates, Professor J.D.R. Thomas. In the final part of the congregation, the university will be awarding fellowships to Professor John Burland for distinguished services to structural and civil engineering, and to Sir John Thomas for distinguished services to the law. Professor Burland and Sir John will be introduced by the orator of our university, Professor David Skilton. Now, during the proceedings, I really would be obliged if you would applaud only after the Vice-Chancellor has admitted each group of graduates to their degrees, not as each one crosses the stage. I know that such restraint can be very difficult on a day like this, but time constraints and considerations of the health of everyone's hands make this absolutely necessary. Before I conclude, I have to intone the modern litany. Please turn off all mobile phones. Babies crying and even the occasional parent sobbing with joy are perfectly natural and welcome accompaniments to an occasion like this, but telephone tones aren't. I thank you for your attention, and I hope that each and every one of you thoroughly enjoys the ceremony.
Gorau awen gwirionedd. Bydded hysbys i aelodau'r Brifysgol ac i bawb sydd yn bresennol. Y cynhelir heddiw yr 11 o fis Gorffennaf 2005 yn Ninas Caerdydd, gynulliad awdurdodedig Prifysgol Cymru, i dderbyn i'w priodol raddau bersonau da i gair, sydd, trwy efrydiaeth yn y Brifysgol a thrwy ddisg, medr a dyfalbarhad, wedi teilyngu'r cyfryw raddau yn unol ag ordiniannau'r Brifysgol. Gyda phob gweddi a dymuniad ar iddynt fwynhau iechyd a hir hoedl i wasanaethu eu hoes a'i cenedl dan fendith y nef. Yna, dy oleini a gyfyd mewn tywyllwch, a dywyllwch a fydd fel hanner dydd, a rhai a fyddant ohono ti a adeiladant yr hen ddiffeith leoedd. Gorau awen gwirionedd. The best inspiration is truth. Be it known to members of the university and to all here present that an authorised congregation of the University of Wales is being held here in the city of Cardiff on the 11th of July 2005 to admit to their appropriate degrees worthy persons who have, through study at the university and through learning, ability and perseverance, been deemed worthy of such degrees in accordance with the ordinances of the university, in the hope that they may be given health and long life to serve their generation and their country under the blessing of heaven. Then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as the noonday. And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places.
Byddid hysbys i aelodau'r Brifysgol ac i bawb sydd yn presennol fod y Brifysgol wedi rhoddi'r awdurdod i Dr David Grant i dderbyn i'w graddau fyrfyrwyr Prifysgol Caerdydd a enillodd raddau yn unol o rheolau'r Brifysgol. Gwelir enwau'r rhai a gellir a'i derbyn i'w graddau yn y cynulliad hwn yn y rhestrau pryntiedig sydd wedi ei dosbarthu. Let it be known to members of the University and to all who are present that the University has granted authority to Dr David Grant to admit to their degrees students of Cardiff University who have qualified for degrees according to the regulations of the University. The names of those who may be admitted to their degrees in this congregation are to be seen on the printed lists that have been distributed.
Anrhydeddu syth ganghellor, cyflwynaf i ti ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a enillodd rad baglor mewn peirianneg. Khalid Al-Shariwi, Hamed Bayat Bidkorpe, Thomas Elizalde Selva, David James Harris, Sophia Hassan, Mayank Niranjan Mehta, James Neil Palmer, Ka Shing Tam, Nick Bachavanidis, Georgios Balafas, Matthew Christopher Bloodworth, James Timothy Brassington, Chuk Ying Chan, Man Ching Chung, Ka Chun Chu, Julie Fisher, Benjamin Jack Freeman, Ryan Christopher Lay, Tanya Michelle Lukins, Gregory Neil McKay, Thomas Kinsey McIntyre, Fotis Mikalopoulos, Azuana Nazri, Chuk Hang Peter N, Norazura Ramat,
Bore da, good morning. At this point in the ceremony, and at other equivalent times, I will speak in Welsh to admit groups of graduands. Each degree has a formula of admission, which, when translated, means, by the authority conferred upon me by the university, I admit you to the degree, which I will name, and to all the privileges of that degree. Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi, derbaniaf chwi, I radd baglor mewn peirianneg, ac I holl freiniawr rath hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Benjamin Michael Richings, Kwok Chung Tam, Benjamin Peter Trevor, Philip Louis Tugwell, Ming Lung Jackie Yam, Salma Youssef, Pollyanna Louise Bloxham, Vincent Ian Breslin, Michael Green, Peredir Jones, Robert James Seymour, Nicholas Oliver Bevan, Shiam Durai, Murtaza Syed Yanawula, Neris Jones Pennell, Thomas William Laithwaite, Venkataraman Mayur Manikavasagam, Carl Marin Ortiga, Noor Hazwani Razak, Dewi Llywelyn Rhys, Millie Shah, Vinithra Farhad Hajan, Azwin Azbe Abdul Aziz, Sally Manwa, Fatgun Chi.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd i mi derbaniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl freiniawr rath hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Richard Benjamin Davis, Thomas Brow Davis, Al-Hassan Lassine Eben Devan, Luke Anthony Fisher, Suhaib Kamarudin, Hassan Karufosh, Sheila Wangeshi Kibushi, Tamina Kulsum, Musam Zam Maridi, David Lloyd Richards, Stephen Richards, Sean Reardon, Shazalan Saiful Mulok, Masood Habibullah Salmanpour, Noor Azam Samsudin, Paul Ashley Samuel, Gregory James Shepherd, Amilasi Lairu Wirasingh, Adel Al-Gamdi, Weihang B, Michael Thomas Childs, Rhys John Davis, Norshalika Harris, Benjamin Alexander Jones, Nurulalka Moandawan, Karilaos Parakavedis.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl freiniawr radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Jonathan Robert Selwyn Pickett. Neil Porzinski. Craig Owen Price. Punit Shah. Ashma Shaharuddin. Mohammed Kahiri Tajul Hassan. Itoro Umoren. David Peter Ward. John Kedry Williams. Dale Roy Wilson. Dominic Richard Anthony Clyde Smith. Russell Stewart Anthony. Jonathan David Blunn. Ross Charles Davis. Dana Talib Elam. James William Gray. Alex Lucian Hazelgrove Planell. Arash Shirani. Jenny Rebecca Taylor. Rhys Williams. Benjamin Daniel Worrell. Norzalina Abdullah. Chris John Hawkins. Colin Pugh. Christopher Neil Sampson.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Siti Nuraja Abdulaziz. Stuart John Adams. Balraj Singh Bamra. Samuel Wayip Chung. Imran Hadi Zulkafi. Richard Alexander Evans. David Fry. Stephen Patrick Fung. Evangelos Galanos. David William Goad. Joseph Tristram Griffiths. Gareth Rhys Holtam. Peter Hopper. Huang Hutut. Noor Hashim Ismail. Mark Keith Jacobs. Grace Koo Mei Lin. Wai Shing Man. Stephen Richard Minty. Mior Hassan Sukri Mior Razdi. Azidi Osman. Richard Owen. Adam Pavitt. Martin Robert Pettiford. Andrew Rickers.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniau'r radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Vinayak Pant, Christopher James Saunders, Joe Saunders, Matthew Brandon Waters, Mohammed Rizwan Yahaya, Edward Stewart Hall, June Kazira Madete.
Prwy awdurdod y brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreiniau'r radd hon. Congratulations.
Anrhydeddus Is-Gyngellor, cyflwyna fi ti ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a enillodd radd athro mewn peirianneg. Paul Edward Hill, Daniel Paul German, Michael Anthony Parker, Michael Rogers, Rachel Hannah Elizabeth Seeger, Boris Andrej, Thomas J. Biggin, Brian Ajete Boy, Robin Philip Campbell, Simon John Freegard, Andrew Martin George, Andrew Nicholas Jackson, Morgan Jones, Jessamy Kate Mail, Joseph Peter Niblett, Timothy James O'Brien, Constantine Panisidis, Hugh Gareth Phillips, Jonathan James Prescott, Rebecca Louise Richards, Rupert James Andrew Taylor, Yule Tian, Philip James Varden, Nathan Dean Walding, Nicholas John West, and Patricia Ann Xavier.
Prwy awdurdod y brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd athro mewn peirianneg ac I holl freiniau'r radd hon. Congratulations.
Simon Charles Beavis, Nariba Gittins, Alexander John William Jones, Christopher Philip Jones, Owen Rhys Rogers, Robert Luke Coleman, Mumbalenga Funjika, Jennifer Louise Hartill, Stuart Hill, Imran Akram Jawra, Christopher Philip Jones, Gethin Jones, Hoy Lee, Noor Diyanamod Azri, Carl Albert Benjamin Pfister, Philip Robert Stanley, Robert Alan Sully, James Mark Wright, Richard Christopher Bunn, Richard John Green, Mark Horsley, Amy Elizabeth Jones, Gareth Thomas Knight, Mark Lewis, Gareth James Mitchell, Sharad Gopal Panika.
Prwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd athro mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffrenia'r radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Ashley Hayden Poole, Christopher Roth, Amir Sheikh, Richard Andrew Wellesby, Megan Jane Beale, Pauline Won Mein Chung, David Idris Lewis Thomas, Kate Berry, Connell Hesketh Brown, Timothy James Harris, Christopher Mark Homewood, Jonathan Andrew Owen, Nabil Sharif Camarero, Matthew Arthur Thompson, Robert James Armstrong, Philip Bate, Mark Berryman, Daniel Thomas Bainan, Richard James Budd, Carl Carter, Annette Louise Clays, Ian Michael Kleins, Brendan James Court, Timothy James Crook, James Clifford Crowley, David Nicholas Davis, Noel Matthew Douglas.
Prwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd athro mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffrenia'r radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Christopher James Elliott, Neil Gadd, Richard Charles Hamlin, Benjamin John William Helmore, Benjamin Charles Hickling, Christopher Jacobs, Andrew John Jones, Daniel John Christopher Jones, Deacon Jones, Hywyn Edern Jones, Duncan Robert Manning, Oliver Benjamin Rupert Montgomery, Robert Kerr Mulligan, Luke James Oliver, Sarah Ann Jane Page, David Ian Parry, Louise Victoria Poole, John David Puplet, Anthony Paul Scriven, Lucy Spur, Nicholas Steer, Tristan Paul Tremedic, Paul Welsh, Sam Asidi, Abiodun Falodi, Philippa Ruth Lowe, Gemma Marie Watling.
Trwy awdurdod y Brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi, I radd athro mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniau'r radd hon. Congratulations.
Anrydeddus Isganghellor, gyflwynaf I ti ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a enillodd braf baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth. Richard Edward Allen, Anthony Assender, Ashley Scott Benjamin Averill, Roland John Benstead, Claire Louise Bonds, Sarah Louise Cartwright, Mark Andrew Chapman, Louisa Joanne Cole, Oliver Lewis Corbyn, Frances Marlene Downey, Christina Jane Uridge, Sophie Gibb, Daniel Joseph Greenall, Catherine Ruth Henning, Ruth Elizabeth Hicken, Benjamin James Kevin, Geraint Maddox, Joanna Marks, Stella McGaughty, Jennifer Ann Milford, Samuel John Mills, Alice Payne, Amanda Jane Ponsford, Alid John Richards, Lucy Judith Sarah Roberts, Joel Wakeling.
Trwy awdurdod y Brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi, I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau'r radd hon. Congratulations.
Hadidyn Musa Adelaide, Christopher Ball, Daniel Paul Barnett, Daniel James Bater, Jessie Liam Cannon, Melanie Selliers, John Gregory Clark, Gareth Fuchs, Ian Gareth Garstang, Richard Matthew Griffiths, Thomas Royston Harding, Andrew Mark Lavender, John David Mitchell, Che Christopher Pointer, Catherine Jessica Reynolds, Thomas William Stockman, Thomas Edward Stone, Jonathan Robert Streeter, David Tallis, Patrick William Thompson, Thomas Robert Webster, Michael Gwyn Williams.
Prwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
George Alexander Aitken, Alexander Baldwin, James Edward Blackwell, Jan Bojanowski, Sarah Louise Bowen, Timothy James Davis, Richard William Day, Angela Dutoit, Christopher Grant, John Jackson, Paul James Kensington, Valeria Kiesekamp, Wayne Gareth Lewis, Oliver Mills, Alexander David James Parker, Thomas Prager, Glyn Joseph Richards, Lauren Eva Samet, Laura Smith, Kerry Wynne Thomas, Jack Thomas, Katie Elizabeth Abbott, Gemma Mary Benz, Russell Christopher Baird, Roland Blackman, William Ronald Bostock.
Prwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Alexander Stewart Carmichael, James Michael Collett, Samuel Boyd Collin, Darren Thomas Cooper, Kern William Creevas, Patrick Henry Curra, Rachel Ann Cutler, Edward James Dashfield, Andrew Owen Davis, Christian Evan Densley, Andrew Neil Douglas Edwards, Gerallt Edwards, Rhian Claire Evans, Adedamola Samuel Follerin, Kirsty Louise Gaston, Stephen Michael Douglas Gee, Nicholas Juan Goff, Sarah Gwilliam, David Lloyd Herbert, Louise Hill, Naomi Hislop, Sean Penelope Denton Hockey, Edward James Hollick, Catherine Ellery Hosford, Gareth Robert Hughes.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbyniaf chwi, I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl frenia'r radd hon. Congratulations.
Benjamin Russell Jackson, Adam Peter Yakovu, Lucian Jones, Oliver James Leake, Brodie Alexander Lee, Nerys Arianwyn Lewis, Andrew George Braggendon Marsh, Daniel James Martin, Joshua William May, Frank Finn McCall, David James Richard Morgan, Thomas James Murray, Alexandra Caroline Pepper, Alicia Raquel Paparel, Ian Perridge, Simon Philpott, Elizabeth Ann Pert, Gemma Rees, Deborah Haley Reynolds, James Ian Rosier, Catherine Ann Samuel, David Owen Sidgwick, Sophie Bell Slater, Sophie Ann Taylor, Daniel Mark Thomas.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbyniaf chwi, I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl frenia'r radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Kate Joanne Thorpe, Kelly Turl, Stuart Colin Turner, Mark Edward Vincent Piper, Robert E. Webster, Nicholas William Ratton, William Jeffrey Y.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl frania radd hon. Congratulations.
Anrydeddus Isgangellor, cyflwyna fi ti, disgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a enillodd radd athro mewn gwyddor daear. I, Professor Diane Edwards, present for the degree of Master in Earth Science. Thomas David Parry. Martin Wollstonecraft. Joel Flitton. Alison May Halton. Bethan Jenkins. Ian Paul Rodwell. Zoe Smithers. Emily Jane Williams. Hugh Davis Williams.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd athro mewn gwyddorau'r ddear ac I holl ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations, colleagues.
Anrydeddus Isgangellor, cyflwyna I ti, disgyblion o'n brifysgol ni a enillodd radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth. I, Professor Ken Woodhouse, present for the degree of Master of Science. Nerea Aldonati. Andrew Barnes. Benjamin John Brady. Richard James Cho. Adam Peter Davis. Katie Louise Edwards. Lewis Fogarty. Jonathan Warren Fullylove. Christopher Reid John Gell. Maria Claire Granger. Daniel Thomas Gray. Lucy Hamilton. Mark Alistair Holland. Thomas Eastman James. Hannah Jones. Chantal Marie Keir. Julian McDowell. Sarah Ritchie. Mark James Swain. Matthew Turbett. Cheryl Tippins. Thomas Adrian Walby. James Wilson. John Woolley. Stuart Nisbet Wright.
Prwy awdurdod a brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi, I radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffraniau radd hon. Congratulations.
Gwanghai Gow. Julian Mass. Kai Wang. Karen Hazel Armstrong. Lawrence Barker. Darren Robert Boyce. Michael Burns. Vincent Corden. Richard Curtis. Stephen David Edwards. Ian Galligan. David Mark Hampson. Gary House. Rodri James. David Wallace Jennings. Brian William McSherry. Noel Bernard Murphy. Xiaoying Chen. James Matthews. Tara Prasad Lamsal. Oliver Sam Lancaster. Daniel Mark Laver. Ricky Whitin Poon. Catherine Jane Webb. Andrew Stephen Whitby.
Prwy awdurdod a brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi, I radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Tanwir Ashraf. Michael Dobson. Mohammed Amma Farouk. Vikas Kanduja. Syed Zafar Naki. M. Chandrakanth Rao. Oluwakiode Akanabi. Xiao Du. Sunday Akinsola Oniosen. Nirvan Shrestha. Natalia Iran. Jun Seong Voon. Siu Ping Wong. Emin Guliev. Rais Ahmed Siddiqui. Nur Adura Azni Abbas. Nisha Biju. Chiamaka Chuki.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi, I radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffrenia'r radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Anrhydeddus Isgang Hechlor, cyflwynodd I ti disgyblon prifysgol ni a ennill lothrath athra mewn athroniaeth. I, Professor Ken Woodhouse, present for the degree of Master of Philosophy, Ho Che Wee.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi, I radd athro mewn athroniaeth ac I holl ffrenia'r radd hon. Congratulations. Very well done.
Anrhydeddus Isgang Hechlor, cyflwynodd I ti disgyblon prifysgol ni a ennill lothrath doethwr mewn parianneg. I, Professor Ken Woodhouse, present for the degree of Doctor of Engineering, Richard James Montague. Alan Wynne Roderick.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi, I radd doethwr mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffrenia'r radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Anrhydeddus Isgang Hechlor, cyflwynodd I ti disgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a ennill lothrath doethwr mewn athroniaeth. I, Professor Ken Woodhouse, present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Lai Tse Au. Christian Bars. Emmanuel Brousseau. Jerome Corrie. Ashraf Ahmed Fahmy. Farhat Agribi Farhat. Jose Manuel Frei Martinez. Susan Emily Hammond. Dortha Merle Hansen. Darren Hurst. Richard William Howells. Leanne Jones. Antonios Kanelopoulos. Dalila Luigi. Richard Marsh. Leo Brewster.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd i mi derbaniaf chwi I radd doethyr mewn athroniaeth ac I holl ffreniau'r radd hon. Congratulations. Well done.
Troy Alexander Merish. Dimitris Nicolaides. David James Notton. Hiroaki Afuji. Katharina Panka. Emma Corinne Paris. Alexandra Nikolov-Pechev. Renxi Q. Bezad Rafezi. Valente Ricoy Paramo. Simon James Shoulders. Chun Yan Tay. Kevin James Trude. Daniela Gustova Tsaneva. Tat Lung Yu. Stanislav Tadius Zurek. Andrew Mark Robinson.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd doethyr mewn athroniaeth ac I holl Frenia Rathhon. Congratulations. Very well.
Anrydethus isgain hechlor, cyflwynaf I ti, ddisgyblon prifysgol ni a ennill losrath doethr mewn gwyddoniaeth. I, Professor Ken Woodhouse, present for the degree of Doctor of Science. John Anthony Brandon.
Rwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd doethyr mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl frenia radd hon. Well done, John.
Anrydethus isgain hechlor, cymrydwyoff I ti, yr rhai a nodwyd yn y raglen I dderbyn yn ei habsynoldeb a'i grathau bathnasol. I, Professor Ken Woodhouse, present all those who are to receive their degrees in absentia.
Rwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf a chrau a nodwyd yn ei habsynoldeb yw graddau perthnasol ac I holl frenia graddau hynny.
Ewnewch I myfyrwyr sydd wedi derbyn eu graddau y bore yma, gyd sefyll I dderbyn cyfarchion Llywydd y Brifysgol a Warden Urdd y Graddedigion. Can I invite all of you who have been admitted to your degrees this morning to stand so that you can receive the greetings of the President of the University and the Warden of the Guild of Graduates. Thank you.
Boed eich gofal yn wastad dros lwydd ac anrhydedd ein prifysgol a'n gwlad.
Llongyfarchiadau a chroeso I Urdd Graddedigion Prifysgol Cymru.
Before you sit down, I'm sure all you very proud graduates would like to join in a tradition here at Cardiff at these ceremonies, and that is to pay a special tribute to your families and friends, and indeed the academic staff who've supported you probably emotionally, academically and indeed financially over many long years to reach this point in your career today. Now is your opportunity to find them in the crowd, turn around and greet them, and to show your appreciation by giving them all a big round of applause to say a very public thank you. Well done. You may sit down.
Vice-Chancellor. John Burland, civil engineer, professor and senior research investigator at Imperial College, is a specialist in problems relating to the interaction between the ground and masonry buildings. Basically, the former is meant to hold up the latter. But this is not automatically so, and it requires someone of Professor Burland's expertise to design large ground engineering projects, such as the underground car park at the Palace of Westminster and the foundations of the Queen Elizabeth II Conference Centre and many others, if they are to stand. Professor Burland joined the Building Research Station in 1966, becoming head of the Geotechnics Division in 1972 and assistant director in 1979. In 1980, he was appointed to the chair of soil mechanics at Imperial College, London. He's obviously someone it's good to have on one's side if one wants to get a project going, but he's even more famous for holding things up. He was London Underground's expert witness for the Parliamentary Select Committee on the Jubilee Line extension and has advised on many geotechnical aspects of that project. During the construction of the line, he ensured the stability of the clock tower of the Palace of Westminster, which supports the 13 tons of Big Ben, and he was a member of the International Board of Consultants, which advised on the stabilization of the Metropolitan Cathedral of Mexico City. He is thus to be counted, sir, a leading supporter of major cultural institutions. Appropriately, he has also been member of the Italian Prime Minister's Commission for the stabilization of that most potent of symbols of the difficult relationship between humankind and gravity, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. His pioneering work in saving this and other monuments for future ages earned him the rank of Commendatore in the Royal Order of Francis of Sicily in 2001, and in 2003 Commendatore dell'Ordine della Stella di Solidarietà Italiana, the Order of the Italian Star of Solidarity. John Burland has been awarded 4 honorary doctorates. He's a fellow of both the Royal Academy of Engineering and the Royal Society. In 2002, he was president of the engineering section of the Royal Society. He received the CBE in 2005. An Rhydevis is ganghellor cyflwyna fi ti yr athro John Burland fel cymrawd Eranrydydd Brifysgol Caerdydd.
Trwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi, gan y cyngor der baniaf di, fel cymrawd Eranrydydd Brifysgol Caerdydd.
Vice-Chancellor, President, fellow scholars and students, it really is a huge honour to be elected an honorary fellow of such an outstanding university. And may I endorse what the President said right at the beginning, that this university is not only one of the very best in Britain, but among the best in the world, and I mean that. The orator very kindly mentioned my work on stabilising the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It seems that I've been typecast, and I'm often asked how I became involved in that project, and I thought that perhaps I ought to tell you. In March 1990, I received a phone call from a very good friend of mine who is Professor of Civil Engineering at the Politecnico di Torino. And the conversation went something like this. John, it's Michaela here. Ah, said I, putting on my best Italian accent. How are you, Michaela? And he said, John, I was fine until this morning. What happened this morning, I asked him. And he said, well, he opened his Corriere della Sera, and there he read that President Andreotti had appointed a commission to stabilize the Tower of Pisa, and he was chairman of it. I said, Michaela, what a terrible job. You have my deepest sympathy. His response was, John, keep your sympathy for yourself. Your name is there as well. May I add my congratulations to all of you graduating today, to your parents and to your partners. What I wonder is, what do you think that you will be taking from Cardiff into your chosen careers? I have no doubt that your heads are still buzzing with the latest numerical technique for analysing flood risks, or perhaps analysing seismic refraction data, and you may even know the properties of the latest microchip, which seems to be heading rapidly towards some kind of nanochip. But what will you still have with you in 10 years' time? Sir Charles Inglis, head of engineering at Cambridge in the 1940s, defined a university education as instilling that habit of mind which you retain when you have forgotten everything you have been taught, or perhaps more kindly, everything that you have been taught has changed. Here at Cardiff, you have been endowed with that habit of mind, which will empower you to tackle the problems of the 21st century. Complex, multidisciplinary problems, such as the inexorable increase in urbanization worldwide, the mitigation of the effects of global warming, the achievement and fulfillment of the Millennium Development Goals, so important for our developing nations. You have been instilled with that habit of mind, which will take you beyond the box-ticking approach to safety and the mind-numbing, legalistic use of codes of practice. That habit of mind which will enable you to tackle from first principles the new and challenging problems of the 21st century. The front line of engineering and science is now in that mysterious borderland between technology and community. It is essential that you occupy that borderland, and you have been given that habit of mind to do so. And may I end with a heartfelt plea. As you enter that all-important borderland between technology and people, please do not fall into that whinging trap of bemoaning the low status of engineers and scientists. With that habit of mind goes the imperative of learning to communicate with the public. Share the huge challenges and uncertainties that engineers have to face day by day. Share with the public the huge responsibilities that engineers carry day by day. Tell it as it is, not dressed up in technical jargon or spin. The public relate to those that are seen to face challenges and to overcome them. The public relate to people of that sort. That is the way that the engineer and the scientist will gain respect. You will have a gripping story to tell. Thank you for the very great honour that you have done me. Congratulations to you all. You have wonderful opportunities ahead of you. Thank you.
Vice-Chancellor, the novelist Anthony Trollope invented a memorable legal firm of Bideawhile and Slow, the partners of which would have been alarmed no end by Sir John Thomas, a lawyer who likes to get things done, a Lord Justice of Appeal and senior presiding judge for England and Wales, and a strikingly energetic and directed professional. Lord Justice Thomas was born in Carmarthen and read law at Trinity Hall, Cambridge, then becoming a Commonwealth Fellow at the University of Chicago Law School. He was called to the bar by Grades Inn in 1969 and practiced at the Commercial Bar in London with marked success from 1971, taking silk in 1984. He became a bencher at his inn in 1992. In 1996, he was appointed a judge of the High Court of England and Wales and was one of the presiding judges of the Wales and Chester Circuit for 4 years. He was a judge in charge of the Commercial Court in London from April 2002 to July 2003, when he was appointed as a Lord Justice of Appeal and senior presiding judge of England and Wales. In this last capacity, he is responsible to the Lord Chief Justice for the administration of justice in all the Crown, County and Magistrates' Courts across the land. Since there are very few lawyers in the hall today, it may not be unsafe for me to voice a layman's relief at a certain discovery I've made that devolution is in some respects a bit of a puzzle to the legal profession as well as to the rest of us. Lord Justice Thomas takes a keen interest in the legal profession's efforts to understand and implement devolution in Wales, and in 2003 convened an influential colloquium of barristers, solicitors and lay people to bring about a unique and productive exchange between various communities of interest. Sir John is Deputy President of the British Insurance Law Association, Deputy President of IDA Insurance and Insurance Arbitration Society UK, and a Deputy President of the British Maritime Law Association. He is President of the Wales Public Law and Human Rights Association, President of the Wales Commercial Law Association, and President of the Welsh Legal History Society. Even more important to us, he is a tireless supporter of the Cardiff Law School and gave the university invaluable advice and assistance during the introduction of the postgraduate legal practice course. Anrhydedus isganghellor, cyflwyna fi ti, Sir John Thomas, fel Cymrawd Eranrydydd Prifysgol Caerdydd.
Trwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi, gan y cyngor derbaniaf di fel Cymrawd Eranrydydd Prifysgol Caerdydd.
Vice-Chancellor, President, may I add my enormous debt of gratitude to you in conferring upon me this great honour. For in law, and again I can speak knowing there are few lawyers here, this university enjoys also a worldwide reputation, enhanced by the work it does in subjects such as environmental law. But graduation is a day I am sure you will always recall vividly. The achievement you have each earned, the opportunity to celebrate with family and friends, and the transition for probably what will most of you be a career in your chosen subject, if you have not had the good fortune or ill luck to stay on as a graduate. As someone who ended his formal education in science before the age of 16 and then passed to study the humanities and the law, there is very little I can offer by way of comment on the careers or university work most of you are likely to follow. But the kind of legal work I have done through a large part of my career, although it has not yet brought me into contact with planetary sciences, has brought me into regular contact with engineers and less frequently, perhaps, with geologists and oceanographers, principally as expert witnesses in the courts. For those of us who have had the misfortune to have not enjoyed a scientific education, it has always been a daunting challenge to learn of subjects at which education really passed me by. For those who had to teach those of us in my position, it must have been astonishing to have had to embark upon the most elementary education that no doubt a sixth former would have had. I had none of that in science. Being taught why two chemicals might react together was an educational experience in one's 40s. But I've always been fortunate in my teachers, or more or less so. And with their help, it has been interesting to try and expose an expert in his field who's made an error, say, in some finite analysis calculation. Or to point out to someone who has advanced a very ingenious theory that a bridge has collapsed or a tanker broken in two, why that is mistaken. Or to point out what was said by the expert to be a fracture through stress was in fact a fracture one's own expert had carried out in the laboratory. And was had the pleasure on occasions of hearing great men expose their subjects. Perhaps the most interesting I can recall was in the 80s when the world's then only professor of dredging technology was able, in a most remarkable speech, to expose the fallacy of the methods a contractor had put forward to dredge a lagoon in the Middle East. But all of this formal education in science, as I said, passed me by, and I had to learn all of this. Perhaps, had I known my career might have taken that path, I would have stayed on and tried to learn more of science. But I had to fall back on what I learnt at university and what I'm sure you will all have learnt. First, one's learnt how to learn, and one will never forget that. Secondly, one has learnt that one must always put integrity at the heart of whatever one does. That it's challenging always to learn something new, and I would not pretend to add what new matters you have to learn. Professor Bowman has already done that. One has also learned how generous others have been in imparting their learning. You have seen that as students, and it will go with you all the rest of your lives as people are prepared to teach you. And what I then have found most astonishing is how little we in fact know about so much. And finally, though it's an odd thing to say on a day like today, there is absolutely no substitute, as you will all have learnt, for hard work. But can I put that aside today and wish each and every one of you success in his chosen career and, more importantly, a wonderful day of celebration, putting all the things you've learnt over till the morrow. Very many thanks.
as President of the University, it now falls to me to bring these proceedings to a close. This occasion is naturally one of the most pleasurable in the university calendar, indeed in life itself. It's a real joy to see the sense of pride and also relief as the graduates cross the stage, meet the Vice-Chancellor, then form the line and then find their seats. The joy, the source of that joy is obvious. The achievement of success, the close of one chapter, the sense of promise that another one is opening. Relief, too, that you won't have to go through your first degree examinations ever again. That's all over. And relief at the fact that you managed to make it right across the stage without any assistance, without stumbling, without falling, without dropping these damned mortarboards, and without presiding yourself with an even more memorable day than you would have wanted. For those who navigate the course in exotic footwear, I offer my special congratulations. I see some of the young women and I wonder just how they make it, but they manage. The other thing that strikes me is all the young women graduates greet the Vice-Chancellor, I know it's a natural magnetism, with an absolutely dazzling smile. And I counted this morning, 3 out of 4 of the young men wink at him. You may think that I'm just watching the proceedings here. I'm conducting my own sociological survey with every graduation ceremony that we have. This, obviously, is the day of the graduates. And I offer you my congratulations. I offer you to my hope that the years that you've spent in Cardiff will give you many happy experiences and memories. I hope that you will all feel that what you've learned here has made a valuable contribution to your own development and to the rest of your lives. And I hope that you have strong determination to use your talents to the maximum of your potential, both for your own fulfillment and advancement, and also for the benefits of your fellow human beings everywhere in the world. I wish each of you good fortune, good health, and great success in the future. Congratulations.